Hey guys, how's it going? Just wanted to do a quick video on my current clan boss team setup. Um, Hopefully this video helps people that are struggling with Ultra Nightmare. Now this is an unkillable team, um, and that unkillable is enabled by Helicath. That is your primary character that is required for this composition. And then of course you will need some kind of buff cleanser and buff cleanser to handle the stuns and whatnot. Um, this is this works on all affinities with the exception of spirit because of the decreased speed debuff. It is very difficult to um, keep the speed tune correct. You can still two key with this current setup. At least with my team with these champions. Um, but it's not easy. I mean, sometimes it drops down to a three key. It does happen. So we'll walk through the team setup real quick. So first and foremost, Helicath, 44k HP, 54k defense. His speed is at 245. A little low on the crit rate. I would like to have that a bit higher. Um, and then I don't really have him built out for any kind of accuracy or anything. As far as his skills, we are prioritizing Devoted Servants, and then have Winds of the Pit, which is his AoE shield. We have that as the second priority. Reason being, both of these are on a 3-turn cooldown because he's fully booked, so we want to make sure that he kicks that Devoted Servants block damage off whenever it comes up, and that will keep the team in tune. So we move down to Annex. Annex has 32k HP, 4500 attack, 187 speed. That's pretty important. So basically, these speeds are. I mean, I did a lot of testing with these speeds. These speeds are exact to make sure that certain abilities pop off at certain times. So we've got 76% crit. A little low, but when Krila kicks off her buffs, it basically crit caps him. Crit damage at 201 or accuracy at 237. We basically just, only thing we have set here is for him to open with Deathly Ikers just to get the poisons up immediately. Then we kick over to Martyr. Martyr, 50k HP, 4k defense, 177 speed. This is to ensure that she kicks off Bastion of Faith right before Helicath throws up his block damage, which those will be the last two things that happen right before the clan boss kicks into his two AoEs. That way we get counterattacks on both the AoEs. And then accuracy 187, a little low, but I don't really need her landing her debuffs, but you will see that she will land decreased attack, decreased defense here and there. Primarily Anax is going to handle our decreased defense and our weaken. As well as, I mean, he's got cruelty on, so he's going to bring down the boss's defense a little bit more. Then we have Riho. Riho is our stun cleanser. She is at 178, exactly 1 point faster than Martyr. Crit rate 71, crit damage 206, attack 3440. Enough defense if for some reason she did take damage, she'd be good. Accuracy, plenty of accuracy to land her debuffs. I will say the downside to Riho here is she does put out a decent amount of damage, but she puts up a lot of buffs that we don't need. So the decrease crit rate, decrease attack, we don't need with this team set up. And then Krilo we have at 183 speed, just a few points slower than Anax. 3200 attack, 75% crit, 136 crit damage. She doesn't need accuracy. She doesn't have any debuffs that she's throwing out. We do have her in a toxic set, so you will see her tossing some poisons up as well throughout the fight. Now, like I said earlier, Helicath is the primary champion that is necessary for this team comp. Riho is here to cleanse our stuns. Well, actually, she's here to block the stun. She doesn't cleanse it. Um, so um, you'll see her pop off perfect body right before the stun, which will put up the block debuffs, which will protect Helicath, which will keep the team moving in sync, and get us through all 50 rounds. If you don't have a Riho, a lot of people don't. It's a tough character to get. You can move her to the 187 speed slot. I'm sorry. If you have someone that, like a Doomguard, that cleanses debuffs, you can move them to the 187 speed slot. Drop Annex down to 178. Basically, just swap these two speeds out. You will see during the fight, Annex always attacks immediately after the stun hit. So at that 187 speed, a Doomguard would be able to cleanse the stun before it affects the speed tune. Martyr, great counterattack champion. You don't have a Martyr, Bone Crusher would work as well. You want them at that 177 speed. And then Kreela she's here for Binding Glow, the ally attack. Any hard-hitting DPS you can put in that 183 speed slot and run with it. So there's very little setup on this team. Like, we will start on auto. The only thing we have to do is manual Martyr's second attack to ensure she uses her A1. That way the counterattack buff for the whole team will go up right before the AoEs. So we're going to go ahead and start it, and we'll let you guys see how it runs. This is a slower run because of the constant counterattacks and the ally attacks. So we'll go ahead and get it started here. So mainly I just have to pay attention. What I'm going to be watching for is for Riho to cast Perfect Body. Once she does that, I'm going to turn auto off, and then I will manual Martyr's A1, and then once that's done, we can turn auto back on and just let the fight go. So once we see Riho, she should be popping right about now. There's that. Turn off auto. We're going to hit her A1 there. It's actually a decent hit. And then we're going to let it run. This will sync up completely at turn 9, or at the boss's turn 9. And then at that point, we will stop taking damage, and it will just be pure damage output for the rest of the fight. Ideally, we want to hit around 35 to 36 mil by turn 25, but that typically doesn't happen. This team is, because of the lower crit rates, it's not 100% consistent. I have hit 73 mil on this team, and I have hit as low as 65 mil on this team with the same setup, same gear. So it's a little all over the place. There's about a 7 mil range that we could fall into. Typically, we're going to fall into the 67-68 million range. But as we approach turn 9, you'll see everything sync up. You see she just cast her counterattack, but that's not what we're looking for. I'll point it out when we get to it. That way you know. That way you can see how it syncs up. So So right after this upcoming stun hit, Martyr and Helicath should go into sync. So we're going to take the stun, boom, it's blocked, we're good. Helicath should A1. Get all of her buffs back. There goes our counterattack, our block damage, and we are synced. So now this just runs. It's typically around a 15 to 17 minute run, which is a bit long, but it's also set it, forget it, walk away, come back when it's done. So we're going to let this run through. I'll point out a couple of things that I was talking about with the speed as we go through here. We're about to see the stun hit. So if you watch, and get our ally attack in, let everybody smack this guy a bit. So there's our block debuffs. He's protected, and then you see Annex immediately goes. So if you have Doomguard or someone else that can cleanse a debuff, you want them in that 187 speed slot, because they need to go immediately after the stun hit to get it off of Helicath, so you don't lose a turn. You lose a turn, the whole sync falls apart, and you'll be dead by turn 30, 35. So right now everything seems to be going pretty good. 4 mil ahead of the turn counter, it's not too bad. That was a nice hit from Martyr. So the gear I have these champions in is not, I mean, your average mid to in-game player can farm this gear. This is gear I've crafted, farmed from dungeons, banners, rings, necklaces from farming Spider or the clan shop. The main thing is just, you know, getting the right rolls on the gear as you upgrade it to get to the speed you need. I mean, the hardest one is Helicath, getting him to 245. You pretty much need decent speed rolls on every piece of your gear that can have a speed roll. But the other speeds are pretty easily attainable. I mean, 187, 183, 177, 178. That's pretty much attainable for anyone that's trying to attempt Ultra Nightmare, has a team put together. I do know that these champs are not available to everybody. You know, quite a few people have NX, and quite honestly, I slept on NX for a long time. I was like, oh, it's just a single target epic, whatever. Not that big a deal. But geared him up, put him in this team, and you'll see he'll put out a solid amount of damage. And I've had this team put together on these speeds for quite some time, and I've slowly built this up to almost a one-key team. I need a little bit, like I've said before, I need some better crit rate, maybe a little more crit damage, a little more attack on my 3 attack base champions. But that's about it. We do have, as far as blessings go, we have Martyr. She's a 1-star intimidating presence, so she's boosting our aura a little bit, which gives Helicath and Martyr just a bit more damage, not much. Kreela is using Phantom Touch. You'll see that proc here and there. I think she's a 1-star as well. Riho is using Riho and Helicath both, I believe, are 1-star smite. And the reason we have Smite on 2 different characters is Smite runs on a 4-turn cooldown. So by having it on 2 characters, we get a little more uptime out of it if the RNG works in our favor. And then on NX we have a 3-star cruelty, which I believe that permanently drops the boss's defense by 10%. And then combine that with a 60% decreased defense, we've got a 70% defense drop on the boss plus the 25% weaken. So we actually get some pretty good numbers out there. But as you can see, these aren't the numbers you see off of the typical, hey, here's the clan boss team you need to build. I'm not hitting for, 250 or 250k off every champion that's attacking. Those numbers are attainable, but not for most people. A lot of the videos you see from different content creators are like just insane. Actually, one of the videos I watched that made me try NX in this team, my God, I think the team they had put together ended up doing like over 200 mil on one key, and NX was well over a third of that damage. So that kind of made me, gear him up, get his masteries on him, and give him a run. So he's going to do the lion's share of the damage here. And we'll look at the numbers everyone puts up towards the end of the fight. But we're at 40 mil going into turn 30, so we're in a pretty good spot right now. It's one of those situations where the RNG seems to be working in our favor a little bit, but that could change. Hell, we could end up at like 65, so 65 mil at the end. So we'll just wait and see. But again, a lot of the recommendations with Helicath came out after his fusion, and people were recommending not to fully book his shield. Fully booking Helicath and putting that shield on a 3-turn cooldown instead of a 4 doesn't really change how he performs in Clan Boss. I think with it being on a 4-turn cooldown, you get a little more play, and the champions you can use to support him. Because as of right now, you need a block debuff champion on a 3-turn cooldown, or you need a cleanse debuff champion on a 3-turn cooldown. Either would work. Doomguard actually works really well on that 187 spot. If you've been paying attention, like the 187 speed always attacks directly after the stun, so Doomguard's a good one to have if you've picked her up. She will work well with Helicath. And another thing, she doesn't pump out a ton of debuffs that you don't need like Riho does. Fortunately, I've got decent gear on Riho, so she actually makes up for some of the damage that she's blocking by blocking poisons and whatnot. But even then, if you look at the debuff bar now, we've got decrease attack up there, decrease accuracy. We don't need those. The decrease accuracy comes from NX though, so you might find someone to take his place down the road. But for right now, I've tried a few other champions in that spot, and they just don't perform the way he does. At least in the gear I have. I've seen plenty of videos where there's multiple champions that just blow him away as far as damage. So we're coming up on turn 40, and we're at almost 53 mil. I got another smite in. We're only going to get one hit off of that smite because the stun hit is coming up. That's considered the A1, so it won't trigger off of that. That's one of the great parts about having smite on Helicath is you get more smite debuffs that will proc off both AoEs than you do if you have it off of one of your support characters. Plus him having a double hit A1 Also up, I mean, you basically have a 20% chance on the 1-star to apply that debuff, so 2 hits better than 1. So that also helps increase your uptime. So again, that stupid decrease attack that we don't need. And there we go, he just put it up. But it's going to get wasted on the one hit's going to get wasted on the stun hit, so one thing I haven't figured out is I know that debuffs won't land if the buff bar is full. So it won't even show you resisted, they just won't appear, period. I'm sure that happens with Smite as well. So it's another reason, I think, at least from the testing I've done with different blessings and whatnot, found that it is helpful to have it on 2 characters if you have 2 legendaries on your team that you can put Smite on. But the biggest difference I saw in damage was putting Cruelty on NX. That permanent defense drop, I mean, it just helps the damage from every single member of your team. So really, really kind of looking forward to getting that Cruelty blessing leveled up some. I think the next step is going to add crit damage, so that should be nice. So we're at 46 and at 64 million damage. We're going through all of our counterattacks. And then here comes our turn meter. So we're back to our attack. So ally attack, this should boost us up some. Really just buffed everyone. We got 3 turns left to crank out as much damage as we can. Just pop 2 more poisons. One of them went up for 4 turns, so that's good. We're not going to get through those 4 turns, but hey, it's always nice to see it go up for a little bit extra. But the amount of having a counterattack champion on your team, I mean, it slows your run down quite a bit, but my god, the amount of damage that it adds, it's just insane. So we're going to end up probably just shy of 70 on this one is what it's looking like. Does he wipe everybody? Yes, he does. And there we go. So 69.78 mil. So 20 mil off Anax. He's our big hitter. Helicath coming in with 14 mil. Riho 12.9, Krila 12.3, and the Martyr at 9.9, just shy of 10. So these numbers can be boosted. I've just got to get the right pieces of gear to up the stats and still keep my speeds exactly where they are, because we can't change the speeds at all. So they are perfectly tuned in. Everything works the way it should. So that's my challenge right now, is upping crit rate, attack, defense, while maintaining the exact same speed. So we'll keep working on it. The highest I've seen off of this team is 73. I think the lowest is around 64, just shy of 65. So this is actually this is the higher end of that range. So this is a pretty good run for us. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. Again, I know these are not champions that everyone has, but basically the main champion, if you already have Helicath, these are the speeds that you need to make everything work. If you have someone with block debuff, again, 178 speed on a 3-turn cooldown will keep this guy from getting stunned. And if you have someone that cleanses debuffs but doesn't put up a block debuff, you need them in this 187 speed slot that we have Annex in. You can flip these two pretty easily, and you will not see a difference in damage because it's still basically a 1-to-1 ratio. So there you go. Again, any questions, drop them in the comments. And thanks for watching. Appreciate it. I know it's kind of a long video, so those of you that skip to the end, like and subscribe. We do a lot of different stuff on this channel. It's been a little inactive lately, but we're going to try to get back into it and do some stuff here and there. So maybe some more raid videos, music reactions, RC car runs. I mean, we're going to do a lot of stuff. So hit that subscribe button, and it really helps me out. I appreciate it. Thanks, everyone. I hope you all have a great day.